Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So something strange just happened as I began your reading. So I'm reading for Cancer energy today. So you don't have to be a Cancerian for this to resonate. I'm actually getting cross-watcher energy. Somebody who's cross-watching for maybe somebody who's Cancerian who possibly has passed on, or some kind of mother figure, but not necessarily. So just be aware that you can flip and reverse the messages if you feel like you need to. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your sun sign Cancer for this reading to resonate. If it doesn't resonate, maybe go and check out your other placements. It could be that another reading resonates more strongly for you this week. Yeah, so something strange just happened. I pressed record on my camera, and this has never happened before, but it looked like it was recording, but there was no timestamp at the bottom. So thankfully, I thought this doesn't feel right. And when I tried to stop recording, nothing happened. So there's something wrong with my video recording software on my other phone. So I tried it a few different times, tried it a couple of different ways. It would look like it was recording, but no timestamp. So it was like it was fake recording. So I don't know if that is relevant to anyone in any sort of way. Just be aware, perhaps if you're trying to record something, that your device is actually recording. Maybe do like a test run or something first. What do I have for you? So your reading's making me uncomfortable. I don't know whether you feel a little bit uncomfortable with the situation. Again, maybe you're in front of the camera for some reason and something doesn't feel right. Just like something feeling really off or uncomfortable, or like you're not getting along with somebody. So I'll start with the fairies, who featured quite strongly in Gemini's reading yesterday. And the fairies came in with this really beautiful message of, basically the storyline was like there was an old man walking in the woods, or this senior figure. It came through as a wizard. So this wizard walking through the woods, going to his favorite spot, and then all of a sudden finding these like children playing there, or fairies playing there. I'm being quite surprised to see them there, but the children, or the fairies, came in with this message of hope and light and love and inspiration. So they kind of like, the fairies lifted this old man's heart. And I can see echoes of that in your reading as well, especially with this gratitude card here. You can see like one of the hands is like an older person's hand, and this hand here is like a child's hand. So it's almost as though you're witnessing, and it doesn't have to be you, by the way. Somebody is witnessing this exchange, the giving of a gift between two people, and it's not necessarily financial. It's a gift of gratitude. It's a gift of thank you for uplifting me. Thank you for being the friend I needed in dark times. Thank you for being an inspiration to me. Thank you for providing me with guardianship and leadership. So it's not a financial exchange. It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of you've benefited my life, and you've also benefited my life. I'm glad we met. I'm glad we met on this path. But it's almost like, I really wish my other camera was working, because this one seems a lot darker. It's like this energy in the background, you can see her expression it's almost like a disapproving expression. And you can't actually focus on her face because her face is blurred in the image. So it's like this energy of, is my camera going to be annoying now? Yeah. It's like this energy of yeah, just this disapproving energy. It's like somebody who disapproves of the fairies. And then it's like this person sees the fairy energy as something is inconsequential and unimportant, and kind of, it's got that energy of like, if you say you don't believe a fairy loses its wings, if you don't believe in fairies, then you don't see the fairies, something like this. Because here on this card here, this activation card, Spirit Guardian of Spring with the tree again, which was really important in Gemini's reading. The fairies are here, but they're almost like ghost-like, or it's like the difference between somebody who has the ability to perceive beyond the veil, or to perceive spiritual beings, somebody who can see ghosts and somebody who can't see ghosts, like that kind of thing. It's like there's somebody in this reading who can't see, they don't have the vision, they don't have the it's like something like they're so grounded. They're coming through with this kind of tree energy. Again, this could be like some kind of mother figure for you. Oh, look at that one as well. Like, it's almost like this person is the rock. It's like this person is part of the trees, part of the earth, part of like this person's a statue almost. So oh, look here as well, interesting with the unicorns underneath both of these. And then this kind of like, again, this kind of like gauzy fairy energy coming in that we saw in Aries' reading. So it's like there's something that seems perhaps a little bit too good to be true with the unicorns. Too good to be true. Airy fairy. You know, maybe like dealing with somebody like that kind of Piscean or Neptune energy of something that's like a pipe dream, a pie in the sky, away with the fairies. You know, people say this person's away with the fairies. Again, it could be like dealing with a child with a strong imagination. But again, it's like this child sees something. Again, this is kind of tying in a little bit to Aries' reading, so maybe go and check that out. Like a child who can perhaps perceive things that aren't there, or a child who has like waking dreams. You know, a child with sight, with ability, with psychic awareness. It's like, or it could even be, you know, a child. And again, this could be you could be the child, you could be the mother. I don't know who's who in this reading. It's going to be different for everybody. But it's like this child who has dreams, you know, has an imagination, has this sight of something that's coming in or where they want to be, and it just seems like a fantasy. It seems like something that's not true to this energy who's coming through with this mother energy. Because I want to say that this mother, now we've got Taurus, Libra, a lot of Libra over here as well, Taurus, Libra, Capricorn here. It's like this person's so fixed, like they have such a fixed and rooted mindset that they just, like, it's like this person's kind of like, I have to see it to believe it. Like, it's coming through like they're so fixed and rooted in the mundane, in the practical. It's like my dad said to me, was it yesterday? Yeah. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know. My dad said to me, again, wibbly wobbly timey wimey, I'm much more of the fantasy magician child believing in unicorns energy. Like, I'm not grounded, but my dad is very grounded, and he's like, why are you doing tarot? Does it earn you money? And he doesn't understand, like, I'm not doing it because it earns money, I'm doing it because it's spiritually fulfilling to me. But because he's grounded, he's practical, he's like, you know, you've got to earn your money, you've got to pay your mortgage off as fast as you can, you know. And it's not that it's bad advice, you know, he's just very much a part of the 3D. He's very much part of the tangible reality, like the here and now, which is not a bad thing, I want to say. So this person is coming in with this kind of mothering energy of saying, but you're chasing a fantasy, you're chasing a dream. This isn't real. It's not something you can hold. You need to be self-sufficient. You need to make sure you've got enough money so that you can be independent, like this kind of thing. But there's something with this person's vision. There's something with this person's sight where either they are not being perceived clearly, or they're not perceiving clearly, or they're hiding something. Can you see how all her face is kind of covered with this kind of earthy material? Again, it's like they're just so grounded in the earth, in the 3D reality, that they just can't, I don't know, they're just coming through this kind of like masked energy, or it could be like masking feelings or something like this, or I don't know, because here again, like the face is really blurred. This is coming through with that energy of the same person, the same energy. And even here as well, like, I don't know, she's got her face turned away, and these two here as well, like, just to kind of show you, it's like her face is covered, she's masked, her face is covered, her face is turned away. I think, is she wearing a mask? Yeah, she's even got something, like, she's got something around her eyes. Can I focus on this? So again, it's like this energy of somebody who perhaps has placed a veil upon their own eyes. You know, they're not seeing, or they're refusing to see. And it's like, even though, because again, it could be somebody who's passed over as well. It could be somebody's parent was like this, or grandmother even was like this, like so rooted and grounded in reality. And I want to say that this person was almost like a rock, right, with these like standing stones as well here, and like here as well, like all all this imagery of being almost frozen to the ground or rooted in the ground. You know, she's bending at the top, but it's like this part is like that tree trunk that's kind of like rooted down into the ground. So it's like this person's so rooted in reality and practicality and being sensible, like they are a rock for other people. They do stand strong. So it could again be this kind of matriarch energy, like the keystone of the family. This came through for somebody a while back, I can't remember who now. It's like this, it's just coming through like this matronly figure who is perhaps a support system for others, perhaps the leader of the family. But again, it's like all these, almost like this childlike fairy energy is kind of like dancing around them. And I want to say it's like they don't even notice or acknowledge that in some sort of way. Can't believe the unicorn came through twice. And there's the phoenix as well there. Like, so this, like, you know, these imaginary creatures, fairies and unicorns and phoenixes, it's like it's just, they just don't see it. And even here on this card with spark, which is like an energy of trying to be creative. I just saw 1111. An energy of trying to be creative, of trying to birth something into the world, of trying to find inspiration. The inspiration I want to say is actually coming from, if I can just kind of spot it myself before I show you. No, I can't see it. That's so strange. I swear there was a fairy on this card yesterday when I was looking at it, but now I can't see it. You see how this energy is? It's like around here somewhere. It's this, it's almost like she's not actually, if you look at where her hands are, she's holding this violin, but she's not actually playing it. She's just holding it. And it's being played by almost like this Cupid-like fairy energy that's, sorry, I'm rocking the camera there. This Cupid-like fairy energy that's kind of firing in, almost like this bow that's a harp. No, a bow that's a, what's it called? A bow that's an arrow. And it's like she's completely unaware of it. So it's like, it could be the energy, and there is like even like a little fairy down here at the bottom. So it could even be something like, maybe somebody is some sort of composer, especially with the sheets here could almost be like music sheets or something. So it's like, I'm sorry, my phone's clicking now. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't turn it back on when it turns off. So that's just going to have to sit there clicking for a little while, I think. I'm going to throw it out the way. It could be that somebody, it could, I'm getting a few different messages. It could be something like, you know, maybe somebody has like a stringed instrument, or, you know, even pianos have strings, right? Like somebody has a stringed instrument, and perhaps, you know, the notes are playing even though nobody's playing the music, like the instrument. Maybe this is like, you know, a grandmother's piano, a grand piano perhaps, or like a grandmother's violin or something like this, or harp. I was getting harp in Gemini's reading. I was actually getting this thing about strumming harp strings, like golden heartstrings, maybe somebody strumming someone's heartstrings. Maybe somebody is a musician, like maybe they play very emotional music. Maybe somebody's very affected by music, but it's this energy of like, maybe somebody's sat in the room and this instrument that used to belong to an ancestor is there and it plays by itself. It's like you hear the notes and it's like, did I hear the note or did I imagine that? Maybe. But it's also coming through with, there could be somebody who's some sort of composer or who is creating something, and it's almost frozen at the moment. It's in this ghostlands energy of not being able to go backwards but not being able to go forwards either. This kind of everything in divine timing, everything's frozen right now. So everything frozen, and then almost getting frustrated with that perhaps, and then burning the music, burning the notes, burning the thing that you were composing. There is an energy of going round and round, round and round, like frozen in a loop almost. It's funny, I'm recording something that's like kind of inspired by movies like Groundhog Day and Palm Springs, with that kind of stuck in a time loop energy. So you may have this sensation of feeling like you're stuck in some sort of time loop in your life. But just like we have this kind of like circular energy here and here, very similar. Now I do separate the cards when I put them away, but all the Aries cards are coming back out together. So I do feel like you could be connecting with an Aries or have Aries in your chart in some sort of way. There's a connection with Aries and a connection or a resistance or a denial of Gemini's reading. So where am I? Round and round. So you can see this here on this card as well. Round and round the tree we go. Round the maypole. Where else did I see it? Sort of here with this Ghostlands. Here with this Ten of Fire. Round and round. Here with this card here. Round and round. So round and round. And even Stormfields with the tornado. Like feeling like you're spinning or something like this. The readings have this energy of like everybody being called to a certain place. Again, Aries have this reading here where it's like the sky was calling to them. It's like you feel like you're the energy of the standing stone or the rock that other people lean on, or somebody who's got a fixed position, where it's like you're in this fixed position and you're noticing these people kind of coming past you, or maybe it's like something like maybe you live in a certain area and you keep getting these travelers who are like traveling through, and you're like, where are you going? Kind of again, Gemini got was it Gemini? Somebody got like We Three Kings, like the story of Bethlehem when, people are all going to see Jesus, and, people are noticing that movement. So it's like everybody's moving towards something. Everybody's like received this message. It's, the sky is calling. There's something in the sky that's calling. You need to go, you need to move, you need to follow this like fairy or unicorn energy towards something else. Again, here as well, like look, staring at the sun almost. Like there's a message coming through with light and the sun. And I want to say like the fairies in Gemini's reading are part of that. So you're noticing, you're fixed, you're rooted. Again, being Cancer, you are a sign that likes to have secure foundations. You like to home is very important to you. You're not really, again, depending on your full chart, you could have something like Sagittarius Mars, which means you're more of a traveler, you're more adventurous. But Cancer on its own, as a fixed, as a sign, I don't know if you are a fixed sign or not, it's interesting that I should say that. But as a sign, as an energy by itself, Cancer is very much of the home. I'm not moving, I'm staying right where I am. This is my home. So perhaps people around you are moving and you are saying, no, I'm sticking with this situation. Again, you can see this here in this card because it's coming through for you. It's like you are also hearing the call. You're seeing that thing coming in, but you're resistant to it. Boundaries for you feels like, I'm staying here, I'm not moving, I'm going to put my walls up, which is different to how it's coming through for others. So staying in place, being very fixed and rooted to the spot. It's like, no, this is my home. This is where all my things are. I'm not following something that feels like gauzy or unreal, like this dream, like this gauzy thing. So, but it's like there is a storm coming in. It almost feels like you should be moving. You should be worried about this. Your home is under threat. It could talk about like wildfires or something like this, or floods, living in an area where, there could be some kind of natural disaster, but saying, well, no, I'm not moving. This is my home. This is who I am. Where would I go? Where if I left, where would that path take me? I'm not going to leave my security for something that's unknown. Has that kind of energy. But again, with the magic stream here, it's like everybody else is on the way to the magic stream, which kind of came through in Gemini's reading. Again, that's where the wizard was going. That's where the fairies were. Sacred pool as well. Look at this, magic stream, sacred pool. It's like that's where everybody's heading. That's where everybody's meant to go. And yet you're resisting. It's like everybody's going to have fun there. It could be talking about like, everybody's going on everybody has a sudden urge to go to, the lake, the cabin at the lake, with the children. It's like everybody in the family, brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, everybody's going to go to the cabin at the lake. They're going to have some fun. And it could be that you're saying, no, I don't want to. It could be like, it's flood season where we are, so let's go higher up, let's go to the mountains, let's go to the lake. And you're saying, no, I'm going to stay where I am, I don't want to go. Or it could be the other way around, like you're staying where you are because you're like, I don't want to go to the lake because it's stormy season and I feel like it's dangerous to go there. So it could be something like that. But you feel disapproving of whatever this was for Gemini, this interaction between grandparent and child, or wizard and fairy, the elder and the playful energy. Like, you disapprove of it. I want to say, again, flip it and reverse it. It could be that this is somebody that you're dealing with, but whoever this is, they don't understand how important the fairy energy is to the elder, because the fairies are uplifting, the fairies are bringing joy to that person. And because this person's so fixed and rooted and grounded, they see it as something gauzy or flimsy or silly. And it's like you're coming in, again, I'm saying you, but flip it and reverse it if needs be. It's like you're coming in and saying, these fairies are inconsequential. These dreams you have, they don't matter. And almost like you're setting fire to, it's almost like these pieces of paper are you setting fire to the fairy wings. Again, it doesn't have to be you, it could be somebody that you're dealing with. I want to say that the people who are coming to my reading are nice people, and I don't think you tend to be like this. So I'm more inclined to say this is somebody that somebody is dealing with, and I'm getting cross-watcher energy. So it's like somebody has a Cancerian parent who is very much like very rooted to the spot, very refusing to budge from the home, perhaps, and refusing to believe in perhaps their child's dreams. Again, it's like the child has these wonderful dreams, like this vision of what they want to do, and it could require, again, with this bravery in oceans, it could require movement, like movement across water, relocating, which again is not a very comfortable energy for Cancer. Again, this card as well also talks about like possible relocation. Can you see this? It's so dark for me. Possible relocation, because it's like they're taking the shell with them, right? It's like traveling, but they're suffering some kind of loss here, some kind of loss of possessions or memories that were in that previous place. But at the same time, there is a release happening. So I want to say that ultimately, perhaps you do move. Maybe it is something like jump or be pushed. Taurus had this as well. It was like, the storm's coming in, you're going to have to move, whether you like it or not. And it's a case of, are you going to be ready for it? Are you going to be prepared? Are you going to face this head on? Or are you going to experience a tower moment because of your refusal to move? So it does have the energy of perhaps, again, like, refusing to budge, refusing to leave your home until the last minute, until that storm is like basically banging on your door, and then being like, oh, I actually do need to leave now. But because you're rushing, because you weren't prepared, it's like, then if it's a wildfire, there's a loss of baggage. The Ten of Fire is talking about carrying a lot of baggage, and in this card, she's dropping it, she's losing it, she's letting it go. And here as well, if it was a flood, it's like losing perhaps possessions to the flood because you didn't pack in time. Again, I don't know if this is somebody you're dealing with, perhaps like a stubborn aunt or a stubborn grandmother or something like this. So there is a loss, and it's disappointing and it's upsetting, but it ultimately lightens you as well. So whatever that loss is, whether it's material or emotional, it's going to lighten you. And with that final push that the universe gives you to get you out of a very, very stuck position, I want to say it opens up a lot of new options because you're lighter. The Ten of Fire is like you're putting the baggage down so that you can travel light. So with that lighter energy comes in choices and options. You're not stuck anymore. You're not fixed. So I want to say, ultimately, whoever this is for, it's good because it's creating flow where there was a very, very fixed, stubborn energy beforehand. Again, could be dealing with a Taurus or a Cappy perhaps as well. So yeah, what else do I have? Peaks of joy. Now, peaks of joy worries me when I see it for you, Cancer, because sometimes Cancer can be an energy of You are the Queen of Cups in the tarot, right? So the Queen of Cups in the upright is very high vibrational, similar to the Empress in that she's very nurturing, she's very emotionally stable, she has a lot of emotions. You know, she may be very up and down emotionally, but she can handle it really well. She rides the waves with a lot of grace and with a lot of ability to take those feelings and turn it into something creative, perhaps. When the Queen of Cups goes in reverse, so it's both your energies up and down, right? Like, are you high vibrational or are you having a blip? Queen of Cups in the reverse is very up and down, almost like, you know, you have the peaks of joy one day and then you hit rock bottom the next day and then you're back at the peaks of joy. And it doesn't have to be that fast. It can be, you know, a good week and a bad week. But, you know, sometimes when Cancer doesn't have that emotional control or the emotional not necessarily control, but the emotional awareness. You know, Cancer's an energy that can be like an emotional roller coaster. So peaks of joy worries me because I know that when you have those peaks of joy, Cancer, you're going to have a crash. So you want to aim at being steady, or you want to aim at again, preparing for, it could be your own emotional storm, right? Your own emotional storm threatening, again, especially with like Magic Stream and Sacred Pool, Ride the Wave. I feel like you're going to have a very emotionally stormy situation, but it could potentially create the kind of rainbow energy that we were seeing in Gemini's reading. So the fairies were really bothering me. Back to the fairies, which could be somebody who is just not investing in somebody else's dreams or ideas because they see it as something that's fantasy. They see it as something that's like immaterial or gauzy or it's just like, I don't believe in unicorns. I don't believe in fairies. I believe in what I can see. I believe in what I've got evidence for. So it could even be like almost like this energy of like a parent coming in and kind of like saying, I'm going to smash your violin because I don't want you to waste time on this anymore. It could be somebody who had a very, very difficult parent. But I wanted to know, I was like, okay, so this energy doesn't believe in the fairies. They ignore them. They refuse to see them. They're even prepared to like burn the fairies' wings because they just see them as something that has no value. There's no value in this. So then I said, what do they believe in? And I was really drawn to the dragon deck. And now what's interesting is the dragons that came out were actually very, very positive, and there was 4 dragons. So it's almost like the fairies in Gemini's reading are replaced by a much more powerful, much more ancient, much more serious energy, but they are still good energies. You've got peace, harmony, and freedom. So again, with that Libra energy that's coming through with the Empress, the Empress is peace and harmony. Freedom, again, maybe a bit of a Sag there. So I want to say that this person, the reason why they're dismissing the fairies is because they're dealing with an energy that's much older, perhaps much wiser, perhaps definitely more serious, more powerful, more just, yeah, much more powerful and ancient, where the fairies definitely have their place. The fairies are doing good. There's almost this dismissive energy of like, well, like, this is what I'm dealing with: peace, harmony, and freedom, which are all good qualities. So this person doesn't seem to be a bad person in any sort of way. They're the Empress, right? The Empress, who is, you know, a leader. She's all 4 queens of the tarot. She's very, very high vibrational. She's just very, very serious and very fixed. Again, it's kind of like maybe a mother who works very hard. Maybe a mother who works very hard, perhaps in politics. You know, Libra is an energy of politics where, you know, if you look at the news today, especially with this like relocating people, the storm coming in, people having to relocate, people refusing to leave the places because it's their home. It could actually be very, very significant globally if you look at the news today. So it could be that this person works in some kind of political situation, like either underneath my nails is really dirty. I've just noticed. I'm so sorry if you've been noticing that. It's makeup. It's makeup, but it looks really dirty. I'm sorry. You know, like it's time to put away childish things, kind of thing, because this person, they're a good person and they're dealing with, like, even with soul guardian, right? It's like, I've got to make sure that people are safe. I've got to make sure that, you know, maybe somebody's brokering a peace deal, or maybe somebody is, interesting, there's an alarm ringing right now. I've got to broker a peace deal. I've got to make sure, you know, this community's okay. I've got to make sure, I'm maybe somebody who works in aid, right? No, like somebody who works in, like, I don't know, Doctors Without Borders or something like this. It's like this person's going in with dealing with really serious people, I want to say. You know, this is like big player energy, perhaps, to negotiate peace and harmony and freedom, because they are trying to protect. They are trying to protect. So it could be, I got no time to play with the children. I can't, like, the children are wonderful. I acknowledge that the children bring light and love and hope. And yet I have to be the protector. I have to be, you know, these people, these children can dream and have these fantasies and live this carefree existence because I stand tall and deal with the big important energy. I'm making the tough decisions. I'm the rock that other people lean on, so that the fairies don't have to deal with the dragons. It has that kind of energy. I would say as well, I even got the fairy deck out because I was so confused why, you know, this energy couldn't see the fairies. And I was like, why can't I see the fairies? Because again, there's negative fairies in there. There's fairies like temptation, which is kind of like the devil card. And no fairies would come out, because this person's dealing with something that's much more big. So again, it could even be, it could be the this energy or your energy, Cancer, is like, I haven't got time to play at the moment. I haven't got time to be lighthearted when I'm worried about what's happening in the world, where I'm worried about seeing what's on the news. Like, I can't indulge. It could be your own child, right? Your child's coming in saying, I've had this dream. I want to tell you about this dream I had with the fairies and this happening, and like, or, you know, I want to be a rock star. And you're like, I just can't engage on that lighthearted level right now because what's happening is affecting me so seriously. It could be something like that. And here comes the storm, here comes the rain. So yeah, challenging reading. And again, I don't know if this is you or somebody that you're dealing with. So if it's somebody that you're dealing with, it could be that they are not understanding your dreams, your visions, perhaps, because they're so rooted in the real world and what's happening, kind of, you know, they're trying to be the rock that other people lean on, I want to say. So challenging reading, and again with the sirens, the challenging reading, the songs that came through. Well, the song that clarified this reading when I asked for, you know, the energy to help me understand it, was Babel by Mumford and Sons. So, you know, if you know the Tower of Babel, you know, people, you know, trying to kind of trying to take a shortcut, right? Trying to get to heaven without doing it the biblical way, if you want to say, without God's help. Trying to, like Icarus, flying too close to the sun. So it could be a message about what I would get from that is there's a person in this reading who's so earthy that they're not seeing the signs. It's like the fairies, the children, the fairies are the message. The fairies, the children, they are the signs. The unicorns, they are the signs from spirit. You know, this is God in some sort of way talking to somebody. And it doesn't have to be fairies and unicorns, right? It could be the children. It could be something. It could be like something a child says. It could be like you're trying to deal with something that's very serious, and the child comes in, and what the child is saying when they're talking about the dreams, or is being dismissed. It's being dismissed as something silly or unimportant because there's more important things going on in the world. But it's like the child has the answer. The child is actually almost like an oracle, almost without realizing it. Maybe they did have a dream, but this was like a heaven sent dream because it has the answer. It has the spark of inspiration. It's like this person's working really hard on something. It could even be like, when, yeah, definitely getting this for you. I've been getting it this morning. So, if you were a composer, if you were creating a piece of art, a piece of music, you wanted to create a song that brought in peace and freedom and harmony and these principles to a wider audience, you could perhaps, if you look to Zombie by the Cranberries and the history and the backstory of that song, it was incredibly impactful. If you're looking at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine at the moment, psychically the information that I've been getting is Madonna's crying. So it's like this energy of there could be some sort of miracle, there could be some kind of epiphany, almost like a mass hallucination or something. It was coming through actually with the sky looking strange, like looking up in the sky. I was like, it came through in meditation about 2 weeks ago. I was in a very snowy forest that looked like it could definitely be in Russia, and the snow was falling upwards. The snow was falling upwards, and I was looking at the sky, and the sky was all lit up with almost like like a borealis, like an aurora in the sky. Like the sky had all these weird colors to it, and the snow was falling upwards, which sounds a bit doomsday, but the energy of it was very, very beautiful and very impactful. And I had this thing about like everybody witnessing a miracle, everybody seeing something, perhaps in the sky, perhaps something very unusual, like everybody witnessing a miracle all at the same time. And it could be like, the way it came through was like all the Madonnas in all the churches. Now, I don't know, because Russia's Orthodox, and I kind of need to look it up. I need to kind of read more about that. I don't know whether like the Madonnas is something that Russia would have in their churches, but it was this energy of like the Madonnas, the mother of Jesus, right, crying, like them all crying at the same time. So I don't think that's literally what's going to happen, but it could be the impact of, again, with this mother and child energy. And the reference to Zombies by Cranberries, if you look up what happened with that song, and this information I've been getting about No Lighti Pugnere, which is a reference to the Sabine War, when the Sabines were fighting Rome, and the Sabine women ran out onto the battlefield with their children, stood in the middle of the battlefield and said, "Why are we fighting? You're our fathers, you're our brothers, you're our husbands, we're all the same blood here, why are we fighting?" And it's like the tears, lacrimosa, right, the tears of the mother, and the love for the child, having an overwhelming impact, being this part of this miracle, that has a huge emotional impact. So it could be that something like this could happen. I hope that something like this could happen that's going to, it's like, think of the children. Again, the song Zombie by Cranberries is so wonderful. Like, the war's still going on in your head. You're still fighting they're giving me Romeo and Juliet. He jests at scars that never felt the wound, which I don't know how that fits in. I don't know how it applies, but that's what they just gave me. It's like the wars of the grandfathers, the wars of the old, the old and dying anyway, who are fighting old wars when we could have peace and freedom and harmony. I want to say there is soul guardian energy here that could come in, using the feminine and using the children to have a overwhelming emotional impact that could bring this in, I hope. So I asked what the dragons are, like what are the dragons, why are the dragons here, explain the dragon energy in terms of like it not being the fairy energy. And again, it could be the energy of like a grandmother or a grandparent or a patriarchal or matriarchal figure, again, like Mother Russia, right? Who is who's seen it, who's lived through a war, you know, who's been displaced. Perhaps this is like lineage of people who, you know, their families were historically displaced through war, you know, and having that, you know, having to leave with nothing, having to, you know, leave without the pearls and you know, leave without that heavy luggage, leave a life behind, you know, when the storm comes rolling in, you know, and it doesn't have to be war, it could be, you know, natural disaster as well. It's like somebody who's older and they've lived through this and they know the realities of it. So they can't indulge in, again, it's like the people who stand strong so that the children can believe in fairies, right? So the dragons came in with a song that made me laugh actually, Cola by Lana Del Rey, which has a very, very shocking opening line, a very controversial opening line, but there's more to it. There's a play on Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which could, you know, chasing the dragon could be applying to somebody there. I don't know, but this kind of, oh, I need to get the words, but I can't because I'm using my other phone. Lucy's in the Sky with Diamonds and it's making me crazy. So again, this could be like some kind of ancestor who's, again, like playing the harp. It's like they're trying to communicate to you. They're trying to bring a message in. And I want to say the message is a message of peace and freedom and harmony. You will have a soul guardian. Or it's, you know, it's like the sky is talking. The sky is talking. I mean, it's raining right now. There is a storm right now. Like the sky is literally talking. I say literally, that's, you know, what it means to me. Like I was walking yesterday and I was filming woodland, and when I panned the camera, you can see it at the end of Gemini's reading, when I panned the camera to the sun, the glare was there and there was rainbows and orbs and things like this. It's like the sky is talking, you know, the heaven is talking, God is talking, you know, something higher than us, the afterlife, something's talking. But we need to listen because we don't want to dismiss it. We don't want to dismiss it because we're being, because you can become jaded. You can become jaded. You can put up those walls when there's very real danger, or, you know, when there's real fear perhaps, or something like this. But it's, you don't want to put up those walls. You don't want to put up those boundaries. You want to tear the walls down, right? I press my face up to the glass around your heart, and I'll tear the walls down. That's Babel. I'll tear the walls down. If you didn't want to think about like the Berlin Wall as well as a reference, like we'll tear the walls down, and we'll do it through gratitude. We'll do it through appreciation. We'll do it through peace and harmony and the principle of freedom. Freedom for everyone, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter which country you're in. Everybody has basic human rights, and let's focus on that. Let's focus on the fairies. Let's focus on the innocence of children. You know, when you speak to children and they just say, I remember having this conversation with my dad. I was watching something about it was something about Israel and Palestine, and I think they were talking about having a wall there, and I remember saying just so innocently, like, why can't they just get along? You know, me being a little Libra child, why can't they just make friends? Why can't they just get along? Like, why can't they just share? Like, why, you know, they're just like, you know, if you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? We're humans, we bleed at the end of the day. Like, why should we put up boundaries? Why should we put up borders? Why should we? It doesn't make sense to me. As a Libra, I've got Libra in Mercury, Libra Sun. This is very Libran, harmony and peace, the Empress. It's like the mothers and the children, as a collective energy, they have it right. They know what's at cost, right? Because of the love. So how do we show gratitude? How do we take the boundaries down? How do we tear the walls down and come together as humans who have very, very basic shared principles, you know, of the ability to love, the ability to have compassion. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We all want shelter. We all want safety. We all need food. We all need water. We all need to be loved, to feel love and to give love. These basic human needs are shared. They're something we all share. So that's where we should focus. It's kind of important reading coming through. Let's get a relationship message. Can I have a relationship message, please, for this reading? How many do we have there? 2, okay. To be fair, again, Libran energy, be fair, listen to both sides. There's people on, when there's a conflict, there's people on both sides who are normal, everyday people, mothers with children, families, who are getting caught up in conflict. And we have to be fair. We can't demonize either group. A message in a bottle, okay. Message in a bottle. That's a message for me with that. To be fair, balanced justice, a need, very, very Libra. Balanced justice, a need to consider options, mutual benefit, the cause of law and effect. Can you find a way to achieve fairness right now? This is a time for listening as well as speaking, for understanding as well as asking to be understood. Again, diplomacy. Diplomacy is the answer to conflict. Wars don't end with bombs. Wars don't end with guns. Wars end when two sides come together in peace talks and they make, they negotiate, they have diplomacy. This is how wars are ended. There is much to be learned, and you will learn it if you remain open and objective, weighing options and considering all sides. Your heart wants to connect to others, so allow for a balanced exchange of ideas and actions. The best kind of relationship is one in which there is mutual benefit, and each party feels heard, valued, and respected. Be fair to all. All, everyone, right? Every single human. Even the ones that you think are monsters. Like, they have their reasons, right? And we need to... The only way to stop conflict is to tolerate and cooperate with even the people that we fear the most, even the people who we see as, demonized people. Like, we have to listen. And again, going back to, the song Zombie by the Cranberries, the reason why atrocities were happening was because people didn't feel heard. They didn't feel like they had a voice. So when they were given a voice in Parliament, it was very controversial. A lot of people didn't like it because these groups had been demonized. But it's complicated, right? All these kind of situations are complicated. There is no black and white in these situations. There is no good guy and bad guy. It's good. Everybody's a good person doing bad things. And there's a lot of reasons why that can happen. And it's normally when there's a breakdown in communication, a breakdown in compassion, a breakdown in diplomacy, when things go wrong. So how do we bring that Libran energy back to the table? Message in a bottle, communication, a sign, a cladon. That's the word I was saying. It's like a child could speak. A child could say something, and it's going to spark this realization. It's going to spark this almost moment of compassion or moment of humanity or moment of realization, because the children know, the children have the answers because of their innocence. So do not ignore the fairy energy. A cladon is the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing the way to your highest good. Relationship message. You can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, phone call, or email. You are the intended receiver of this message, so stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. Okay, and then I want to let's get animal oracle spirit as well. What do you have to say, please, for this reading today? Whoa, immediately think on your feet. Again, like, you may have to move fast. Again, like an unexpected storm, perhaps, you know, your house floods, there's a wildfire, you know, something unexpected perhaps, you may have to think very quickly, you may have to move quickly. So just to say, I was using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck there. This is, if I can just find my little booklet, this is the Animal Spirit Oracle. 27. 27 could be a significant number for you, as could 15 and 38. Be alert now, for the fox has appeared, and you are meant to move swiftly. Let this clever spirit draw out your creativity, again with that spark card there, as you adjust to rapidly changing circumstances with resilience, grace, and astuteness. Fox spirit helps you to think on your feet, using your best judgment and wits to help you slip into a more advantageous situation. Now is not a time to hesitate, but a time for swift action of the mind, a time to think outside of the box, right? Don't go with the popular narrative. And notice the many ways in which, doesn't mean the popular narrative is wrong, but you need a bigger perspective. You need the broader perspective, the higher perspective, which to me is this balanced Libran perspective of let's negotiate, let's understand that wars start when communication breaks down, wars start when people don't understand the needs of the other, wars end when we humanize people and we humanize situations. Wars start when a key factor in a war happening is the dehumanization of people. It's the dehumanization of the enemy. So the more you can humanize the enemy and show those, you know, family values and compassion and children and women and tears and lacrimosa, you know, it's, you know, it's very hard to fight somebody when you have compassion for them. So we need more of that energy. We need more of the feminine in this situation. Think outside the box. Keep that in mind. Keep that higher perspective. And notice the many ways in which you might make a move. Aware of your surroundings and always clear on what you deserve and wish to co-create. Trust that your cleverness, guided by Fox Spirit, will serve you well. Okay, and obviously I'm not trying to make light of a situation. I feel like I have the high perspective here, not to brag, but I'm a Libra. I've thought about this a lot. Libras are a very political energy, very politically minded, air energy, swords energy, a lot of mind, a lot of thinking, a lot of analysing there, a lot of not seeing things as black and white, but really opening up all the grey areas of a situation. So people often underestimate Libran energy as being something that's wishy-washy, perhaps away with the fairies, you know, a little bit daydreamy. You know, if I look at social media and like, you know, things like astro poets that poke a lot of fun at the signs, you know, Libra's the one that's taking selfies and looking pretty. Well, yeah, okay, Libra's taking selfies and looking pretty, but at the same time, Libra's mind is in this empress, standing tall, being a rock, taking the center ground, understanding all the different sides of a perspective. Very strong energy, and Libra's constantly underestimated. So I've got to fight for Libra's corner, being a Libra and understanding my own brain, you know, and how that works. And again, my Mercury is Libra, so the way I communicate, the way I deal with social situations, especially like conflicts and things, is with this Libran energy of you get to say your piece, you get to say your piece, like let's have understanding here, let's negotiate. It's very much my the way I communicate with that Mercury placement. So perhaps you do have a strong Libra placement. It's coming through really strongly here. Maybe go and check out your full chart, because honestly, like if everybody was a Libra, like there'd be no wars, there'd be very intense discussions, no wars, but nothing would ever get done. Right, so I've also been using the Elemental Oracle, the Enchanted Map Oracle, Queen of the Moon Oracle, the Good Tarot, and the Sacred Forest, if you're interested in getting any of those decks. All morning I've also been channeling Lana Del Rey, When the World Was at War, We Just Kept Dancing, so that could be helpful to somebody as well. When the world was at war, we just kept dancing. I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you didn't find me dismissive, because I am absolutely 100% not. I'm perhaps a little bit jaded, perhaps a little bit removed from the situation, but yeah. Believe in the fairies, believe in the unicorns. They've got something to tell us. Take care of yourself. Leave me a like, please, if you've liked, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel. If you feel like people need to hear this reading, absolutely do share it. If you're coming in hating on me, I'm not interested. I'm going to ignore you. And yeah, I hope it was helpful. I hope this was beneficial. I hope it was reassuring. I hope it inspired you. Do take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye, Cancer. Hey Cancer, as if we needed a little bonus message. As I was shuffling this deck, preparing to put it away, I looked at the underlying, and you've got a dove spirit, be peace. So just a bit of bonus confirmation there. All right, take care. Bye bye.